All right. See if my slides get up there. How cool is that? I'm a little nervous about this talk, actually. I have a message that might be a little painful for a lot of you guys to receive. But there's a hopeful note to it as well. So the pain comes first, though. So you've got to kind of tolerate it for a little bit. That means you two out there in virtual land, we have people watching us. That's kind of cool, too. And then we'll get to the hopeful part. But before I start any of that, I want to find out a little bit about you all. Whoops. I've got a few questions here I want to ask. I did this during my tutorial. And I want you to remember the numbers. So first question is, does your organization value testing? Give yourself a 1 if your org that you work for values testing equivalent to development. Give yourself a 2. The numbers are important because you're going to add them up in a minute. Less than development, but very close. Give yourself a 3 if it's less than development, but more than, say, doc writers. And give yourself a 4 if they have to tolerate your existence. All right? Write that down. Now, if you're sitting next to your boss, lie. Right? Lie on paper, but not in your head. Keep the real number in your head, but feel free to give yourself 1s in front of your boss. Now, second question. Do your developers value testing? Give yourself a 1 if they fix every bug report you write. Give yourself a 2 if they take all your issues seriously and fix most. Not a lot of begging going on there. Give yourself a 3 if you have to fight to get bugs fixed. And give yourself a 4 if they would happily replace the testing org with a bunch of trained monkeys. Now, if 3 and 4 are both the case, you got to take the worst one. You got to give yourself a 4, okay? Third question. Now remember, keep a running sum of these. Do you have a clear career path? Give yourself a 1 if you can climb the career ladder as an individual contributor as high as any dev. Give yourself a 2 if you can climb, but you have to go into management to do so. Give yourself a 3 if your job will definitely not take you as far in your career as you want to go. And give yourself a 4 if you feel like a second-class citizen in your career. All right, you got the math going on? Number 4, your skill set will get you a job anywhere you want, any company you wanted, any city on the planet. Give yourself a 2 if you have options, and some of them are actually better than where you are. Give yourself a 3 if all your moves are lateral. Give yourself a 4 if you feel stuck. You all getting this? Your contribution. Give yourself a 1 if the tests you write are as important as any piece of code any developer writes. Give yourself a 2 if test is important, but not quite as important as development. Give yourself a 3 if test is definitely a second-class citizen. Give yourself a 4 if the developers are the heroes in your company. And finally, your compensation. This is a tough one. This one, don't lie in front of your boss, right? You want them to know how you feel about this. You make as much as any dev in the company or more. Second, 2, you're close. 3, testers swim in the shallow end of the wage pool at your company. And 4, you trade salaries with anybody in dev, even the new guys. All right, now add your score in your head. You got it? Right? So if your score is 6, that's the best score you can possibly get. Keep that job, kiss some ass, do whatever it takes to stay employed. How many people had 6s? 1, 2. I'm going to count myself as 3. Anybody who works for me better damn well have your hand up. If your score is less than 11, smile. That's not so bad. How many are less than 11? All right, not bad. Maybe a 10th. If your score is 12 to 16, it could be worse. Raise your hand if it's 12 to 16. This is pretty typical. Oh, actually, this is a lot lower than my tutorial. Clearly, the people who signed up for my tutorials are the cream of the crop. That's what I'm thinking. 17 to 21, Houston, we have a problem. Do not raise your hands. Don't identify yourself. Here's a hint. It's the people sitting next to you that haven't yet raised their hands. 22 to 24, there's more to work, really. There's more to life. There's fun things to do, right? I'm sure you have a wonderful family, great lover, and good sex life. Work just ain't doing it. Now, I think this is kind of telling. I don't really like it. I've grown up in test. I've cut my teeth in test. I'm a development director now, but 3 months ago I was a test director. And test is where my heart is. So I don't like the fact that more than 50% of this crowd is 17 or higher. And these are the people who are reaching out, right? You all came to this conference to improve yourselves. So what about improvement? Are we doing something wrong to get ourselves down this far on the totem pole? Do we deserve this second-class citizen feeling that we have? Is there something we can fix to change it so that we get better? Now, remember I warned you about the pain at first. What we're looking for is respect. And there's several ways you can get respect, right? You can just whine about it. I get no respect. Or you can demand it. Damn it, I'm a tester. I want respect. Or you can earn it. Ali G, baby. Funniest man on the planet. When he says respect, that means you've earned it. You've done something to impress this guy. What have we done to earn respect? What do we do as a testing discipline? How do we explain ourselves? How do we change what we do to earn respect? Because I'm not all about whining for it. I'm not about demanding it. I'd like to earn it. So let's talk about this. What can we do to gain respect? Well, I've reached out to some experts, gotten some quotes from their blogs. The first one is a good friend of mine, Brett Petticord. There's a little reference there if you get the slides, which are on the website. You can click the link and read the whole article in context. But Brett says anyone whose job it is to pass judgment on another's work, which is pretty accurate for what we do, right? You missed a spot. There's a bug. You're an idiot, right? We pass judgment. According to Brett, we must have the authority to do so. Now, given the fact that most of us are 17s to 24s, I am going to go out on a limb here and guess that none of us are enjoying that authority, right? I don't know if it's working for Brett, but it doesn't seem to be working for us. Do you feel like you have the authority to tell your developers what to do? Stop writing code and start writing requirements. Do you have the authority to do this? No, of course you don't. It's called reality. They're building the product. So what do we do? Maybe there's something that we do that will help us gain that respect. Another expert, a very good friend of mine, Alan Page from Microsoft, says that testers earn respect by being credible, by showing good results, and making good decisions. Now, to me, I could say this about my admin. She's credible by showing good results, making good decisions. Right? She does it all the time. I take her very seriously. I wouldn't be able to do my job without her. You can say the same thing about doc writers. You can say the same thing about system administrators. You can say the same thing about every other organization that supports the people who are doing the high-value work. Is the work we do just not that high value? Are you telling me that this is all we do is just kind of tidy up around developers? Well, another name you've heard at this conference already says that we simultaneously learn about the product, design tests, execute them, and report bugs. This is the work we do. This is tidying up. This isn't building products. This isn't creating something a user will love. Somebody else does that, and we tidy up around them. This confirms the support status of testers. Is it any wonder we don't get respect? Is it any wonder so many of us in this room are 17s to 24s on my little quiz on this scale? Surely there's got to be more. Surely we've made some contribution that we can point to and say, We kick ass, and there's the data that shows that we kick ass. And there is such, right? It's called results, period. It's not about being credible. It's about results. We will never be taken seriously. We will never be credible unless we produce good results. So have we, as a test industry, produced good results? Well, I'm thinking software is getting a lot better, isn't it? I mean, if you compare Windows NT to Windows 7, you can't. Windows 7 kicks Windows NT's ass, man. It is way, way better software product. You compare Pine to Gmail. You compare a Palm Pilot to an iPhone. Software is getting better. Software is getting more reliable. You cannot compare anything built in the 90s to the software built today. Software built today is better. Can we feel good about that? What was our contribution to that? Why is software getting better? Not just better, it's getting a lot better. First reason software is getting better is because it's easier to update it. We're not writing fewer bugs, it turns out. We're writing the same number of bugs. We just fix them faster. It used to be we'd ship a CD, we'd ship some disks, the user would install it, they'd find a bug, and they were stuck with that bug until they got the next CD or the next set of disks. Not anymore. We have auto-update. Our operating systems auto-update. Our browsers auto-update. Our applications auto-update. If there's a bug in the ecosystem, if we ship a bug, it's easier to fix in 2011 than it's ever been. And that is the number one reason software quality has gotten better. And it's got squat to do with testers. Second reason software has gotten better is crash recovery. Have you seen this? Your browser, Chrome, IE, Firefox, they all got bugs. They die all the time, and then they recover, right? You get that, oh, snap, and then all of a sudden your browser's back, all the tabs are open, and you can continue working. Doesn't work all the time, but it works most of the time. Software can crash, and we don't suffer from it. It just gets fixed. It fixes itself. Auto recovery, crash recovery. One of the reasons that software in 2011 is way better than it's ever been in the history of software, and it ain't got squat to do with testing. I'm going to keep digging here. Reduction of dependencies through standards. I've talked about browsers. I've spent a year and a half of my life testing Chrome for Google. Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, the three main browsers on the planet. Some are going in different directions, but they all implement HTML5. They all implement certain standards. It's getting more and more and more difficult to find a website that won't work across all three of those browsers because of these standards, right? We're reducing dependencies that used to be a bear, right? It depends, you know, you used to see this website works better in Internet Explorer. You hardly ever see that anymore. Optimized for a certain platform. You never see that anymore. The dependencies are being reduced, and it's easier to write cross-platform apps in 2011 than it's ever been, which means our apps are more reliable and less dependent on that one machine of the user, right? Software works great on your all's machines. It crashes on your all's machines, right? Those kinds of bugs are getting more and more rare. Reduction of dependencies makes software better, and it's got squat to do with testing. I told you this is going to be painful. Where's our contribution in this? Wait a minute, this is only the top three. I got 6. Surely we're in there somewhere. Continuous builds. At Google, some of our products build every few minutes. Some of our products build hourly. Most all of our products build daily. It's not like we have to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 10 weeks or 6 months, and we have one product to test for 6 weeks or 10 months. We have a new product every day, and every single person has access to that same product. All the developers, all the testers, right? Find a bug, it gets fixed, And now we've got the new version to test immediately. Continuous build has really increased software quality. And it doesn't have squat to do with testing. It has to do with the availability of the most up-to-date image in the hands of dog fooders, testers, developers, program managers, everybody. The availability of that build makes software better. And it doesn't have squat to do with testing. We're reaching here. Number 5, initial code quality. It used to be that every time I got a new build, I would find a bug immediately. And it would be a stupid bug. Why did you write this bug? Well, only a moron would write this bug. I press this key 3 times and it crashes. What an idiot. Right? But not anymore. At least at Google, and I think a lot of web companies, the initial code quality is higher than it has ever been. The amount of desk checks, the amount of code review, the amount of unit tests, in Google land we call these small tests, that are written by developers, test-driven development done by developers. This is testing, thankfully, but it ain't testing we do. It's testing before the code is ever built into a binary that's testable. And it's making software better. It's harder and harder and harder to find that first bug. I used to be a professor, and I taught software testing. And I would charge companies for the privilege of having my students test their app during class. And we used to time it. We'd get a new app, right? Microsoft would hire us, Google would hire us, Cisco would hire us. We'd get a new app, and it was a contest. Let's see how fast we can find a bug. Whoever finds a bug fast enough gets an A for the week. We never, ever measured it in over a minute. Never. I was a professor from 96 to 2006. From 96 to 2001, we were finding bugs within seconds. From 2001 to 2006, you could see year by year, it got harder and harder and harder, longer and longer and longer to find that first bug. If I was doing it now, I often pick up a build. I'm a pretty good tester. I often pick up a build, the newest build of Google something, and I go directly to the new code, the new feature. I know that code was added. I start pounding on it, and it takes me a while to break it. And it's getting harder and harder and harder to break because of the excellent job the developers are doing writing better software. Sorry, close one that time. Very close. But I ain't giving it the test. And finally, that's software, man. Number 6, pretend my beautiful slide is up there. All right, it's nothing I did. It's your all's fault. The convergence of the user and test community. So at Google, we employ lots and lots and lots of testers that aren't testers to test our software. So we have what we call canary builds, we have dev builds, we have test builds, and these builds are picked up by people that aren't testers. Dog fooders, right? Google Plus, which we just released to the public a few weeks ago, has been tested internally by literally thousands of Googlers. And then we let it out to some early adopters. We let it out to some trusted testers. We put it out to some crowdsourced companies and got them involved. None of these are professional testers. The convergence of the testing community and the real users is creating better software. The access to real users who are willing to use our application. They're not testers pretending to be users. These are real users. Every bug they find is by definition important. It's not like a tester finds a bug and has to argue, hey, you should fix this bug because it's important. Why? Because you're a tester pretending to be a user? How do I know you're good at pretending to be a user? Give me an argument that shows a real user will find that bug and care about that bug. If we're using real users to test, and our dog fooders, I think Google Plus, I don't think the testers, the real testers on Google Plus, found any issues that wouldn't have been found by the internal dog food community. I don't think there's a single one. There's some security vulnerabilities. There's some privacy issues that we found. my test team found. But I look at all the bugs that we found. It took us 2 days to find one bug. Dog fooder would have found it in 10 seconds. They're better at testing than we are because they don't have to pretend to be a user. We do. Taking advantage of this community, of this massive asset, has nothing to do with testers and everything to do with software quality. We're talking orders of magnitude better software quality because users are better testers than testers by definition. Are you depressed? I told you it was a painful message. We ain't anywhere in the top 6. I've got 4 more. We're not there either. I'm not quite sure where we come in, to be perfectly honest. I can't really point to a technology that has come out of the test community that's anywhere close to any of these 6 or the next 4 that I haven't presented. Not even close. There hasn't been a development in testing that makes me say, wow, that's awesome. There have been new tools. There have been new books. There have been new exploratory testing tours. Right? There's better ways to organize the things that we're doing. You as an individual can increase your skill to become a better tester, but none of these are game changers. They're all little incremental improvements. You can't find a game changer in testing in the last 20 years, 30 years. It's all the same. The model-based testing we were doing in the 80s is the same as the model-based testing. Maybe the tools are a little bit better in 2011, but it's the same. The exploratory testing, it's the same. The manual testing, it's the same. The automation, it's the same. Right? We used to have, I mean, maybe, yeah, WebDriver is, you know, a little bit better than Selenium, but you still got to, it's still hard as hell to use. It's all incremental stuff. Now, the challenge is to stop this incremental bullshit. If you want respect, show me a game changer. Do something big. Do something that changes software quality by some order of magnitude, not little incremental stuff. I found this great bug. Aren't I freaking clever? No, you're not. Unless you can fix it, too. Right? You want to add value? Get into this mix. Testing ain't there. So how do we do this? We got to stop all this motion and get on a path to forward progress. And I'm going to propose some things we can do to make such forward progress, to increase testing's value proposition. Are you with me? Do you want to do this? Do you care? Are you happy with the incremental progress? Those 6s, 7s, and 8s, right? Those people who are less than 11, are you happy? All right, here comes the hard part. What I just told you ain't the most painful part. The most painful part's coming. Painful, unpleasant, fact number 1. Only the software matters. Users fall in love with the software. They fall in love with the product. They download something on their phone and say, isn't this beautiful? Doesn't this application improve my life? It entertains me. It makes me happy. I like it. And software does. You ever see a little kid playing on their parent's cell phone some little game and they get a smile on their face? You know, I watch my kids playing Xbox. They've got their headsets on and they're talking. That's their social network, right? They don't go out and play anymore. That's old school. Oh, they still do. Do you see the smiles on their face? What do you tell your kid when you say, let's say you're an Xbox tester? Yeah, you know, I tested that. My son, aren't you proud of your father? And then he asks, what part did you build, Daddy? And you have to say, well, there's nothing you can point to. What are you going to say? Well, it sucks less because of me. Doesn't that make you feel sort of manly? Yes, my son, I make software suck less. If you want to matter, do something that matters. Tests don't matter. Test plans don't matter. The only thing that matters is the product. So work on the product. Do something to make users fall in love with your product, not just make it suck less. That's your challenge. You'll gain respect to the extent that you can achieve that mission. Make people love your software. Unpleasant fact number 2. Man, I'm depressed, and I'm the one talking about this stuff. What kind of opening keynote have you unleashed on these people, Lee Copeland? The value in testing has nothing to do with the stuff you do. The test cases you write, the test plans you write have zero intrinsic value. When was the last time you saw somebody using your application and say, man, must have been some damn fine test plan behind this sucker? It's the activity of testing that's important. And you cannot rationalize creating test plans. There is no reason in the world to build a test plan. You're going to spend your time, how much money do you make? You're going to spend something that users don't care about? Really? Okay, some people are government regulated and you have to do this. Just whip one out, man. Seriously. They don't care. Testing is about the activity, not about the artifacts. And if you were in my tutorial Monday, and then I did it again on Tuesday, because I guess I'm just a long-winded bastard, you saw tools that were all about the activity and not about the artifacts. You saw tools that testers use to do the activity of testing, and let the tool document all that crap. Don't waste your time doing stuff that doesn't matter. Only do stuff that matters. Concentrate on the activity. Let the artifacts generate themselves. There's tools out there that will do it, and we're open sourcing a whole bunch of them this month. So, here my point is that testing just has to get done. I don't care who does it. I don't care what does it. I don't care if a user does it. I don't care if a tester does it. I don't care if a robot does it, a monkey does it. Testing just needs to get done. And we need to organize the testing that gets done. Stop testing. Start organizing the testing that's already naturally occurring. Someone said during one of my tutorials that, she just thinks it's wrong to just throw software out to users with bugs. Right? Why would you do that? Why would you punish your user? We all do that. All software has bugs. You can test it for a century and release it, and it's still going to have bugs. Your users get pain anyhow. Make them part of the testing solution. There's more of them than there are us. Oh, man, I feel like I've been punched in the gut. And it's not because I was drinking with Rick and Dale and Allison and Heather last night either. It's not because of that. It's because of this topic. The only important artifact is code. Why is code important? Really, only the product's important. Code's important because it makes the product. Code's important because it is the only artifact that's ever guaranteed to always be up to date. Always. The code gets care and feeding automatically. Nothing else does. You want to update your test plan? You got to work to update your test plans. How many of you all can seriously say to me right now that every single one of your test plans right now for every feature is currently up to date with every last feature and code change represented? Test plans go out of date, right? You have to work to maintain them. Code is the only artifact in the entire software development process that's always guaranteed to be up to date because we manage it. We have features, and we have people who own those features. We have program managers, product managers, and developers who own those features. Where are testers in this mix? Why aren't we concentrating on the only thing that matters? Why are we writing test cases that users don't care about, that are hard to update? Why are we writing test plans that users don't care about and that are work to update? Why aren't we doing all of our work in the code? Are we scared of code? Right? Developers like to pretend that coding is really difficult. Do you know why? Because they know how to do it. It's the same reason expert skiers like to ski around you. Look how I'm good at this and you're not. I'm better than you. Don't tell me skiers don't do that. Some of the most annoying people on the planet. And developers do it too, and they're also some of the most annoying people on the planet. There's nothing magic about coding. It's easy. Especially the kind of coding testers have to do. Because we ain't got to write it from scratch. We usually just have to edit it. Why aren't we in the code? You want to make a difference? Make a difference in the only artifact that anybody cares about. Inside the company, outside the company, it's the code. That's where your playground needs to be. Unpleasant fact number 4. The sun will come out. I promise. I don't care about your bug reports. If your bug report doesn't get fixed, if you write a bug report and the bug doesn't get fixed, you have done damage to your product. You have done damage to your company. You've done damage to your users. Stop writing bug reports that aren't going to get fixed. You write a bug report. You're testing the software, right? You're in an activity that's valuable. You're testing. And then you find a bug, right? And you're a tester. So you say, oh, found a bug. Right? And there's that rush of adrenaline and that bit of joy, right? The whole reason we're all in this is because we like to break other people's shit. But what have you done? You've stopped testing. You've stopped performing the one activity that actually has value, and now you're stopping to write a bug report. And we have classes on writing bug reports. Really? They've been at STAR. I've seen them. How to write a better bug report, my ass. Stop writing the damn things. That'll make them better. So here we are. We've got our tester who stopped working to write this bug report. And now the bug report gets submitted. They're still not working. The developer gets the bug report, and they never understand the damn things, do they? Right? They look at it, and they're working as designed. Well, now they've stopped working, too. Right? They used to be doing something valuable. They were coding, and now we stopped them. Now we have 2 people ain't doing shit. And then the developer, I don't understand his bug report, right? So they go back to the tester, and now they're bickering about this while they're not working. And then we got some other tester that doesn't know about this bug report, and they find the same bug. And they write a different bug report because nobody writes the same bug report twice because we do it by hand, which is stupid. Machines can create better bug reports than human beings any day. Stop doing stuff a monkey can do. Stop doing something you can build a robot for. Look at all the people we've randomized now. We've got 2 or 3, 4 or 5 testers finding the same bugs. We've got some program manager trying to figure out which dev is the idiot. We've got devs trying to dodge them, right? Oh, working as designed. Jump back. Not really a bug. Step back. Dumbass tester. Step back. Nobody's testing. Nobody's writing code. Nobody's doing the stuff that matters because of all these bug reports. Stop it. If it ain't going to get fixed, don't report it. Keep the devs working. Keep the testers testing. Stop all this nonsense. Seriously, please. Okay, I'm done. That's the unpleasantness is over. Want to get to some good news? I don't really have much good news. But I have some recommendations. I think we need to develop some good news. I think there has to be a better future for software testers, or the discipline's going to go away. You guys are under threat more than you have ever been under threat. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make a prediction that some of the best companies at testing on the entire planet are going to start doing away with testers. It's going to start happening, not in years, but in weeks and months. Our access to our user community, we are closer to our users than ever. Our users are more willing to tolerate bugs and give feedback. There are people begging to be part of the trusted tester community for all of the top companies. For everybody who's writing interesting software has a whole bunch of willing testers out there. Crowdsourcing is a new big thing too. And those crowdsourcers are real testers with real devices that you want your app tested on. And it's a lot cheaper to pay them than it is to build a big old test lab with all those devices that you need. You are under threat. You are under threat more than you have ever been under threat. And the only thing you can do is get better. The only thing you can do is stop doing all the nonsense that doesn't matter, right? Stop pointing out the obvious. I love this shirt. It says, at the end of the day, it gets dark. Do you ever feel like that's what you're doing? Right? Even if you have something more wise to say about that, you ever said something wise to a developer and the look on their face is such that they think you said that, right? I enjoy drinking beer. No shit, it's full of beer. Stop! Stop pointing out the obvious to stupid people. I will never take this camping. I love that one. So what's next? What do? We're under threat. The users are better than us. Developers are getting better at testing. To me, this has opportunity written all over it. This is not being under threat. This is a challenge to up our game. This is a challenge to be more useful and more valuable and to contribute to our products more than ever. So we got to stop saying some of the things that we've been saying before. I have to stop saying some of the things that I've said before because I have said those very words. Developers can't test. Yeah, they can. Google developers are really good testers, often a lot better than Google testers. I just wrote a book with Jason Arbon, who is here, and Jeff Carolla, two of my Google colleagues, called How Google Tests Software. And a good solid half of the book is how our developers test software. The other half of the book is how our testers test software. And the developer stuff is really good stuff. So is the tester stuff. So stop saying that. It's destructive. It's incorrect. It's not helpful. The developers are working on the thing that users love. You want to be there with them. Stop insulting them. And certainly, I will too. I've said this. I think I've written it in my exploratory testing book. I think I believed it even a few months ago, maybe a year ago. It's wrong. Users care about quality. No, they don't. Not true. Users know software sucks. They've been dealing with this for decades. They expect it to break. Online shopping, do I really have to do it on really? Oh, what do you mean you bought a new printer? Oh, God. You updated the operating system? Really? I got a Mac at home, and I just got an email that said, something wrong with the hard drive. Hey, fail occasionally. Bring it back to the store. No, don't touch it. Yikes. We know software sucks. Users know software sucks. They know there's going to be bugs. They don't want perfect software. They want us to manage the quality process. They want us to fix the bugs. And we can. We can release a piece of software to 1 million users, and one person can find a bug and report it to Google, and we can fix that bug for all of those other 1 million users before they even get to it. The time between us getting a bug report and us pushing a new version out, not to 1 user, not to 10 users, not to 10,000, all hundreds of millions of them, is a difference between flipping a switch, right? Here you get the old version, now you got the new one. We can fix bugs lightning fast. That's more, the users appreciate that. They want it to be managed. They don't want it to be perfect. If I don't find all these bugs, users will suffer. No, they won't. They're going to suffer anyhow because there's lots of bugs in it that you ain't going to find. You're one tester. You're a group of testers. You can't find all those bugs. You're going to ship a buggy product. So stop worrying about it. Ship it. So the users are going to suffer anyhow. Ship it. Hit the important stuff, right? Find the security bugs. Functional bugs will find themselves. You get one or two dog fooders, you'll find the functional bugs. You get one or two crowdsourced testers, you'll find the functional bugs. Find the important bugs. Find the security bugs. Find the privacy bugs. Find the accessibility bugs. Those are the important bugs. Why are we looking for functional bugs? They're easy. Stop finding easy bugs. So, getting testing done. You guys can stop testing. You don't need to do it anymore. We're closer to our users than ever. Let them do it. I'm not telling you to put a buggy product out to 1 million users. I'm telling you to put the buggy product out to a few dozen trusted testers. I'm telling you to put the buggy product out to 1,000 dog fooders. You're going to find the bugs. Same bugs that you testers would find. I mean, I know you guys are skilled. You like what you do. But man, there's nothing like a real user to find bugs. They will find all the bugs. All the bugs they find will be in the order of their importance. And look at what more could you ask for? Take advantage of that, please. We don't want to be like the skiers and the developers, just acting like we're important because we can do something that no one else can. Users can do it better. Devs can do it better. Right? Those old stereotypes are gone. If your devs can't test, if you really believe that in your heart, it's your fault that they can't test. You've been their crutch. You've been their monkey. You've been doing all the crap work that they don't want to do. I do it too. As a developer, if I get a tester to do all my crap work, bet your ass I'd do it. Yeah, go list the features and write some user scenarios. You just go do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to write my code. You let me get by with that as a developer, I'm going to do it every time. And I'm going to develop every bad habit on the planet because you let me do it. Pat Copeland wrote the preface to How Google Tests Software. And he described the process he used to get Google developers to be honest, right? And take part, be a partner in the testing process. And I don't think he had a harder company to do that in than Google in 2005 when he joined. It was about as anti-test as you could get. And one guy, my former boss, turned the tide. And he wrote about it in the preface. You can read it, exactly what he did. And now, in 2011, 6 years later, we're in a company where every dev can test. Oh, there's a few that aren't good at it, but we know who they are. And at Google, every tester can code. There are some that aren't good at it, and you know who they are. But it's a company where products are built collaboratively between testers and developers, where testers really do impact the product. That's why we wrote a book about it. It's important. Now, let me show you how to get closer to users. So this is a product. There's a commercial version of this available. It's called Google Feedback. And Google Feedback can be built into your app so that your users can communicate with you directly. No testers in the loop. Now, for something like Google Maps, this is absolutely necessary. I could hire 1,000 Maps testers. I could hire 10,000. I'm Google. I can afford it. I could hire 10,000 map testers. And they're not enough. The damn planet's big. And it's got a lot of features and a lot of roads. And there's algorithms to go here to there. And if you've ever seen me give a talk in the past, you've probably seen me. I love to show maps bugs, right? The one where we had a walking route from Cambridge, England to Hull that went through Norway. A walking route. A very cold, wet walking route. There's lots of bugs in there, right? The data's updated constantly. The only way to find those bugs is to find the people who understand those certain locales. There is nobody on this planet more capable of telling Google where your house is than you. You're better at it than any Google tester. There's nobody who is better at saying, actually, that business is closed, update your maps, than the person whose business it is, or the person who just went to the business and found out, oh, Google told me to go someplace and it's closed. Those are the people we want to embrace. Those are the people that are the best qualified to test Google Maps. Far more qualified than any of us in this room. Far more qualified than any tester who's taken every exploratory testing class and read every exploratory testing book on the planet. None of those skills matter when you got somebody better than you and users are better than you. So here would be an example experience for this. Let's say I go to Google Maps and I search for Seattle pizza. And Google Maps renders this. And I start looking around and I see one of these, Picora's Pizza, and I select it and I say, you know what, there's something wrong with that. Picora's is spelled wrong. That's not how you spell it. So this is bad, right? Google are idiots. Why did they do this? Now, before this tool was available, that's all they could say was, God, what idiots, right? I'm trying to go someplace and it's giving me, I'm just telling me to go the wrong way on a one-way street. Well, you've got to make it easier for the users to give you feedback. So, where that little hand is pointing, you click on this little icon up here at the top. That's our bug reporting icon. And it says, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to report a bug? Do you want to see bugs? Do you want to record a test? Do you want to see a bug console? What do you want to do? And let's say we want to report a bug. And then it says, well, what kind of bug is it? And we tell it it's an inaccurate or incorrect search result. And we click that. This is the user doing this now. All they're doing is clicking. And the user clicks that. By the way, we don't ship this to the real users yet. This is a version that we use for Google dog fooders. So there's 20,000 internal Googlers who are reporting bugs in Google Maps with this constantly. So let's say it has to do with that, right? So now, wherever you click, it's going to highlight it. The tool is going to highlight it. It has to do with that title. And now you get this, and it says, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a screenshot of this so you can give it to the developer? And you say, yes, please, I'll take a screenshot. And so you click on that, and it says, okay, there's a screenshot that we're going to give to the developer. The area there is highlighted. Now you can enter some text to describe what the problem is, or you can do more, right? And you can also see the script. Now, remember, these are Google testers. We wouldn't show this to a user. We don't want to see, a user doesn't want to see JSON or HTML or JavaScript, but these are Google internal testers, even though they're not testers. This is what's going to go to the developer. Now, the developer experience is pretty nice here. The user, all the user had to do is click, 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 and that's it. They're done. There's no typing, right? A lot of the bug reporting mechanisms you see say, okay, tell me what computer you're using. Windows, Mac, Linux. What browser are you using? What version of the browser are you using? Do you have any other apps running? Right? And you got to type in all this stuff. Have you ever reported a bug publicly? These are the things you have to do. Why do I have to tell the computer what kind of computer it is? Why do I have to tell the browser, oh, your Chrome version 10.157.5 something? Oh, screw it. Right? That's what users do. They get halfway through these things and they say, man, this is way too complicated. Click, 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 click. Any user will do that. And you get a bug report. Not only do you get a bug report, you get a screen snap showing a highlighted version of the bug. You get an HTML or JavaScript test case that you can run and see exactly what the user saw. We've made it dead easy for the developer to debug this. There's no excuse for not finding this. It came from a real user, and you get precisely the information you need to fix the bug. Now, the developer comes along. After this thing has been used by tens of thousands of Googlers, the developer comes along, and this is what the developer sees. The developer will come in and say, okay, I want to see all the bugs that have to do with these map tiles that are currently showing. And you select that, and it shows you the bugs. It highlights everywhere a user has reported a bug, and you see it overlaid on the map. Now, this is some powerful testing. This is putting test tools, just point-and-click test tools, in the hands of tens of thousands of people in the crowd. Imagine, this is a game changer. This isn't one or two people having fun finding, walk-on-water bugs in maps. It's fun to do. It's just not helpful. This is helpful. We get literally thousands of these bug reports every single day. Thousands of them. The maps are getting better and better and better and better and better because these things are flowing in. How many do we fix? All of them. Because all of them are by definition important. There's no developer that stops work and tries to reason out some way to reason that I don't have to do this. You have to do it. It came through the tool that we're collecting data from users, in this case, they're dog food users. This is a game changer. There are more game changers, too. I demoed a lot of these tools yesterday and Monday at my tutorial. Jason Arbon and Jim Reardon, two of my colleagues, are doing a session at 11:30 this morning in one of the Track Talk areas, and they're going to demo all the rest of them. Game-changing tools that bring users and testers closer together and that bring testers and developers closer together so that we're actually doing this as a team and doing high-value work and changing the game. Software quality is going to take a leap forward with stuff like this. It's not. It's just going to keep creeping if all we do is build artifacts no one cares about and do work that's not important to our customers, our users. So you click it resolved, and then it turns it yellow. So now a tester comes along and sees this and says, oh, the dev has fixed this bug. You can go through and verify it, and then it'll turn green. Another tester comes in, verifies it as well, and then it disappears completely. So the idea is to get all these red spots to turn yellow and then to turn green every single day because you got another batch coming in tomorrow. The users don't expect it to be perfect. It ain't perfect. But this is orders of magnitude better than we can do with any other tool that I know. So involving users, I've talked about that. Involving developers as well. My idea for involving developers is to make testing a feature. The one and only thing developers understand is features. The one and only thing program managers manage are features. If testing's not a feature, it isn't going to get managed. We're going to have to do it. Make it a feature. Make the test infrastructure a feature of the application. Promote it to a first-class citizen. Test automation is just as important as any other code. So put it in the same source tree, assign a developer to maintain it. That developer could be a tester who can code. I'm totally happy with that. And manage it like you manage all the other features. Game changer. We're not creating separate test automation that pounds it with inputs. The test automation is a feature of the product. It's got to be there because the product's the only thing that's important. A game changer. Finally, the other place that you can live and do testing ad nauseum is in specialization. Get a specialization. Pick one. Right? In 1996, I decided I was going to specialize in Y2K testing. Why? Because it was profitable. In 2000, after Y2K became unprofitable, I decided I was going to be a specialist in security. And I wrote 2 security books, How to Break Software Security, How to Break Web Software. They're both out there. And I became a security tester. I became a specialist. I was special. I had a skill very few other people had. I could find cross-site scripting bugs in websites. None of the other testers on the team could. You want a specialty? Now, what would I choose now if I was still going to do this as a tester? I'd choose privacy. Privacy is dying for a new guru. There's old gurus in security. There's old gurus in internationalization. There's old gurus in accessibility testing. Nobody's got privacy. You want to make money? You want to be special? You want to move the industry forward? Be the first privacy testing guru. Positions out there waiting for you to take. And the competition is slim. So these are my recommendations. You can read them. I'm almost out of time. I might or might not have some time for questions. But I did want to say that there are a few books out there that I've written that you can purchase and I can sign for you. This new book how Google tests software is not yet out, but just this morning a preprint became available. And if you follow me on Google+, my Google+ account has, I've just streamed the URL to that book so you can buy the preprint. Now, I should warn you, preprint does cost money, and it's not been copy edited. It's exactly the way that Jason and Jeff and I sent it to the publisher in a PDF file with a really cool cover on it. And so it's going to change. If you're dying, if you're gagging to get this information, you can get what the publisher calls a rough cut. Otherwise, you can wait a few weeks and buy it at Amazon.com. And that's it. I'm done. If you're interested in my work, this is where you can follow me. We're going to work on this problem of bringing users and testers closer together, bringing testers and developers closer together. We've got a lot of cool experiments. Many of you all probably already follow the Google testing blog. I think it's the most read testing blog on the planet at last time I checked, which was a few days ago. We just started GoogleDevSpot.com, and we're going to do some pretty interesting stuff there. We're going to teach you how to code to Google APIs, and we're going to teach you how to code in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We're going to do an experiment with a 14-year-old boy. Not that kind of experiment. We're going to teach a video game playing 14-year-old how to code, and you can follow along at this website and learn with him if you'd like. Be patient. There's only one post there. Gobs of material at Google Testing. All right. Are we still friends? Thank you very much.